Since we have 10 hours of Stonehenge and I have nothing better to do while my girls are grinding, let's actually talk a little bit about what's going on with Eva, a day 1 review, where we have put her on the tier list, the card, the pet, if it's worth pulling for any of them, or just go for more dupes of Merlin, and overall how we're feeling about her after, again, day 1 testing. As usual, hello the universe, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Not gonna lie, I feel her base design is better than the skin. I'm still not 100% sure. I said I was not gonna buy the skin, and I folded within like 10 minutes. That's it. I got her to core 5. I got her max out until I could on the training, because the next one is asking me, of course, for Awaken, which I don't have, and I'm not gonna be pulling for Awaken. I got her with double attack, 1 crit max out. Pretty lucky on the rolls, honestly. This was like less than 50 rocks, so can't complain. And then I'll talk a little bit about her skills and what gear I'm using on a moment. As usual, leave a like, subscribe, and go to the channel, and let's start talking a little bit about her kit and explaining how it works. Eva is a character that gets a lot of buffs based on how many stacks she gets. So, if I go right here, she's been fighting for probably a couple hours, alright? She has already 80 stacks. 80 stacks of stimulation is the maximum she can get. And based on how many stacks she gets, that ultimate is perfect, I swear to God. Based on how many stacks she gets, she will get different types of buffs. So let's go over all of the different type of power-ups that she's getting, right? So the first thing she's getting when she gets 20 stack of stimulation is that the basic attacks will reduce the cooldown of the active skill by minus 5 seconds, right? The second thing she's gonna be getting when she gets 40 stacks is that she's gonna inflict shock on all enemies, which is pretty nice depending on what team composition you're using. But for example, for Kraken, this might be really good running her with Lua and Ran. You still don't really need to remove Ran, just put all of them together, and that should be like a really good team there. And then when she gets 80 stacks right here, she will also set the cooldown of her ultimate to 0, and you can use this multiple times, and she will actually be able to spam her ultimate multiple times through a fight thanks to all of these stacks. And then she's getting even more boosts. So she's getting flat out 88% attack, 12% critical hinges, and now every time she's getting a stack, she's gonna be gaining 1% attack speed up to 25%. She's also gaining an extra 8% critical hit chance when she gets 30 stacks. And also when she reaches 60 stacks, she's gonna be getting another 32% attack to sum it with this 88%. And when she gets 80 stacks, again, she's gonna be getting ignore damage reduction 15%. So a lot of different moves, as you can see, based on how many stacks she is getting. It's like a simple kit, but it also means that you only want to be using her on long fights, which is mostly going to be bosses, raids, of course, Star Incarnation. Even though Star Incarnation, it depends on the buffs more than anything because it's quite short there. And also for Stonehenge, she's fantastic because she will keep 80 stacks through the whole 6 hours or 10 hours you have right now, right? Now, her other active skill is right here, Lightning Smash. This will just deal damage to all enemies, but if you have 25 or more stacks of stimulation, she is going to be increasing this damage by 100%. And her ultimate is pretty similar, 1200% of attack, really good, but if you have 50 or more stacks of stimulation, she's gonna be increasing this damage by 150%. So again, of course, the biggest con that she has, and we'll talk about it later again, is that she is only usable on bosses, Stonehenge, farming, endgame. When it comes to low deficit, she might be losing usage because at low deficit, she will not be able to fully stack everything. So you are better off running Lohenring, Lancelot, Tiamat, Lisa, Anessa, Lua, etc., any other DPS, right? So that's like her only downside. Outside of that downside, her damage is stupid good. Now, some damage comparison numbers, let me actually show it to you guys. If I come right here, okay, so this was the same team on everything, and I was using Galahad, Neo Vediver, the Unsearched, Tiamat, and of course the new character, Eva. And as you can see, using the Lua card on Eva, she is doing almost the same as my Core 7 Tiamat, 350, 337. This was on the daily boss on the raid yesterday, which was neutral element for both of them. Then using the Merry card, the Summer Merry card, she loses damage, so it's not as good. And then using her own card, it's pretty close, 333 versus the 337, and we'll talk about that later on what cards are good for her. But as you can see, her damage is fantastic. I saw this morning a post saying that she was not as good as they expected, and I was like, I don't know what people are thinking when they say a character is mid, when this is one of the strongest damage dealers in the game. But it is what it is. Let's talk about the equipment, let's talk about her card, and then we'll go over the pet and everything else. When it comes to her build, really simple character. Attack and crit. It doesn't get any simpler, okay? Your rune, you want crit. Your weapon, a mix of attack and crit, depends what you get. I have her right now with typical crit, 1 attack and a 30% attack for the refinement. When it comes to the armor and the trinket, you could be using a Tempest helmet, you could be using a Green Knight's helmet, you could be using a Crown of the Dead, anything that's gonna be increasing either her crit chance or directly her damage. When it comes to her armor, we always say the same, it just changes too much. If you are on content that you don't require to survive too much or you are good, you can run a Green Knight armor for the 10% extra attack. If you need more survivability, you should be switching to either a gold armor or a goddess armor. Those two are fantastic. Even a Tempest armor is gonna be better just for the survivability, right? So the armor is always gonna be changing a lot. When it comes to the cards, I already said this, I personally will say get the card, but right now this card only works for her, for nobody else. So this is not a situation like Tiamat, where clearly Tiamat is so good, you want to be getting her card. So this is more of a, I believe we put her on T2, and we'll go to the titles in a moment. But I will say, you could skip this card if you have the Lua card, if you have the Summer Merry card, or even you want to use Vivian or Merlin as just like side options to buff the other characters as well. There are more cards you can use, this is just some examples that I'm giving. In my opinion, the best card gonna be Lua and then her own card. I like having the characters with their own card for the most part, unless it's support. When it comes to dupes, guys, same thing as always. +3, nothing else. Do not go past +3 because it doesn't make sense for a free-to-play. You will be able to get most of the characters to +3 as long as you're not wasting gems on a lot of the pets or on reruns that are not really good characters or whatever it is, right? I would suggest go to +3. If you get lucky, of course, go for the +5. Never go for a max awakened character unless you really love them or you are a well. Nothing else, right? Specialties, mix of attack and crit. I got lucky with double attack, 1 crit. Since I have a lot of crit on her gear, I wanted to get at least 2 attack on the specialties. And when it comes to her training, something that I didn't notice, and I don't know, it feels kind of like weird, is that Electric gets a lot of flat attack, and the last node for 4 souls is 125 attack. I will say, just get her up until here, you can ignore the last node for now. End game, long term, this flat attack is going to be really good, but right now for most people, you can ignore it. That's for the character, that's for the pet. Before we go further, of course, tier list, right now, Eva is a T0 character. She's clearly better than most of the other characters when we talk about damage dealers, at least, right? Like if we're talking about damage dealers, or if we're talking even about wizards, if you want. She's gonna be better than Merlin, better than Summer Merry, which is more situational, better than Vivian, that needs to have someone to apply root in order to shine, right? So, in my opinion, a fantastic character, catching up to even Tiamat depending on the situation, easy. When it comes to the card, for now, I'm gonna be putting it on a T2. And I'm putting it on a T2 because, like I was saying earlier, it only works for her. If we're talking about the Lohenring card, it works for most DPSs. You can put it on any knight and it works. This card is exclusive for her, so I don't want to put anywhere else. Now, let's talk about the pet. The pet is a skip unless you go all in. If you go all in, +5 is a T1 endgame bossing pet. If you only get a copy or 2, it goes down to T2 as a niche situational pet. They keep releasing these pets that have a negative effect and a positive effect. So when we talk about Unleash Eva, she is going to be giving you critical resistance reduction. So this is like if the enemy has a Lilith card applied to you. Not good, right? Not good. Enemy is going to crit you really hard. If you go to +5, however, this goes all the way down to only 5%, which is more beatable. So 60% crit damage, 6% crit chance, some attack, and he's also giving you permanently 10% additional damage. So really good pet if you go all in. If you don't go all in, I wouldn't even recommend pulling for it. And speaking of pulling, again, like I was saying, I will try to get at least a +3 if you can. Merlin has less priority on dupes. I will try to, of course, get Merlin and her card, universal card for any support and any wizard. But when we talk about actual dupes, I will say Eva takes more priority. If you still haven't pulled for Phoenix, I will say go for Phoenix rather than going for Eva or Merlin, right? Way better pet to go for. But like I was saying earlier, there is so many banners always that are good that it's hard justifying going for anything past +3. But all that jumping dot is gonna be for this video. That's where we have put Eva so far, some damage comparisons so you guys could see what cards I will use, how would I build her, and like I was saying earlier, she's a plug and play character. You can put her on any team, even though she's gonna be using mostly for bossing, farming Stonehenge, and long fights. That's it for this video. As usual, we are live every single day. Links in the description down below. Good luck with your pull, the internets, and I'll see you on the next one with this beautiful ultimate. My god, that looks good.